not pictured, but she's on.
Okay.
There you go. There's her.
All right. I'm calling the meeting of the ETSB committee to order. A physical quorum of the members is not present. However, pursuant to Section 7E of the Open Meetings Act, members are permitted to attend remotely. Either one member of the committee, the chief administrative officer, or our chief legal counsel are physically present at the regular meeting location. In-person attendance and public comments are allowed, subject to attendance limitations required to ensure the health and safety of those who attend. So clerk, please call the roll.
Indulcio.
Here.
Eckhoff.
Here.
Franz.
Here.
Kramer.
Here.
Moranowitz. Renahan.
Here.
Carr.
Here.
Schwarzy.
Here.
Swanson.
Here.
Meyer.
Here.
Ames.
Here.
And Tillman.
Here.
Thank you very much. Any public
Grand jury. Sorry.
comment?
There is one public comment. Chief Preston, Lyle Woodbridge Fire Protection District. Record of attendance.
Hey, good morning, Chief Preston. As far as chairman's remarks, just a couple things. I'm excited that we have our surveys for the Dieters radio information from Chief Shar and Deputy Chief Connolly today. So excited to hear about those. Welcome to Deputy Chief Eric Swanson from the Sheriff's Department. Glad to have you. And with that said, we also are going to recognize a couple outgoing members today. So starting off, we have a resolution acknowledging Deputy Chief Dan Biladou's participation. So I'm going to read a resolution. Is he in attendance?
He is not logged on.
He is not. Okay. All right. This is a resolution acknowledging the contribution of Deputy Chief Dan Biladou of the DuPage Sheriff's Office to the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County, dated April 14, 2021. Whereas the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County, hereinafter referred to as DuPage ETSB, is an emergency telephone system board established pursuant to Section 15.4 of the Local Government Emergency Telephone System Act 50 ILCS 750 15.4 hereinafter the Act. And whereas DuPage ETSB has oversight of the enhanced 911 systems, which is a critical and valued state-of-the-art tool for the expeditious response of public safety to citizens' requests for emergency service for citizens of the County of DuPage and portions of Cook, Kane, and Will counties. And whereas Deputy Chief Dan Biladou was appointed to the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County for a term commencing August 13th, 2019 through April 13th, 2021, serving with diligence and resolve, exercising fiscal responsibility in the furtherance of the best available technology for the protection of enhanced 911 first responders, telecommunicators, and the community at large. And whereas Deputy Chief Dan Biladou, as a DuPage ETSB Sheriff's Office representative, worked diligently to express the views of the DuPage County Sheriff's Office in the development of policies and in the procurement of technology to support 911. And whereas Deputy Chief Dan Biladou served as a DuPage ETS board member through the consolidation of the DuPage County Sheriff's Office, PSAP, into the Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center, and was instrumental to the success of this final phase of consolidation. Now, therefore, I, Greg Schwarzy, Chairman, along with the DuPage Emergency Telephone System Board members, thank Deputy Chief Dan Biladou for his leadership and service to the community and to this board, expressing our gratitude on behalf of the citizens, telecommunicators, and first responders of the DuPage ETSB Enhanced 911 system. So,
Deputy Chief Swanson.
say it again.
He's on the Deputy Chief
Oh,
Swanson.
okay. Deputy Chief, thank you so much. I know, this is not a glamorous position, but it's definitely needed. And, You and I both know how important it is. And so thank you for the 2 years that you served. Would you like to make any comments?
I would thank you all. It's a pleasure working with all of you. I just, with some changes here and retirement, I have taken over as the merit coordinator, and it was just going to be a bit too much to juggle merit as well as this. So Deputy Chief Swanson has taken this over, and I know he'll do a good job. But thank you all, and I'm sure I'll be in touch with all of you guys in the not too distant future.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all your service. Well, please reach out if you ever need anything, okay, sir?
We get a motion for that, right?
We need a motion to accept this resolution.
So moved.
So moved,
Tegmeyer.
Franz.
Moved by Tetmeyer, second by Franz. Clerk, please call the roll.
Stedmeyer,
Aye.
Teams,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Andalcio,
Aye.
Eckhoff,
Aye.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer,
Aye.
Baranowitz, Renahan,
Aye.
Shar,
Aye.
Schwarzy,
Aye.
and Swanson.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. The resolution passed. The next one is a resolution acknowledging the contribution of Chief Anthony Romanelli of the DuPage Sheriff's Office to the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County. Also dated April 14, 2021. Whereas the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County, hereinafter referred to as DuPage ETSB, is an emergency telephone system board established pursuant to Section 15.4 of the Local Government Emergency Telephone System Act, 50 ILCS 750 15.4, hereinafter the Act. And whereas DuPage ETSB has oversight of the enhanced 911 system, which is critical and valued state-of-the-art tool for the expeditious response of public safety to citizens' requests for emergency service for citizens of the County of DuPage and portions of Cook, Kane, and Will counties. And whereas Chief Anthony Romanelli was appointed to the Policy Advisory Committee, PAC, for a term commencing December 3rd, 2015 through May 3rd, 2021, serving with diligence and resolve, exercising fiscal responsibility in the furtherance of the best available technology for the protection of enhanced 911 first responders, telecommunicators, and the community at large. And whereas Chief Anthony Romanelli served as a PAC member through the upgrade and implementation of all major 911 software systems, the commissioning of 2 new public safety answering points, and the consolidation of the Sheriff's Office PSAP into the Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center as the final phase of the consolidation. And whereas Chief Anthony Romanelli, as the PAC Sheriff's Office representative, worked diligently to express the views of his constituents in the development of the DuPage Emergency Dispatch Interoperable Radio System, DETRS, policies. And whereas Chief Anthony Romanelli, having the Metropolitan Emergency Response and Investigations Team, MERIT, as one of his duty assignments, ensured that interoperability for this countywide special teams developed under this joint task force had talk groups for their operations. Now, therefore, I, Greg Schwarzy, Chairman, along with the DuPage Emergency Telephone System Board members, thank Chief Anthony Romanelli for his leadership and service to the community and to this board, expressing our gratitude on behalf of the citizens, telecommunicators, and first responders of the DuPage ETSB Enhanced 911 Systems, enacted and approved this 14th day in April 2021 in Wheaton, Illinois. So I'll need a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
So moved, Tillman.
So moved by Chief Kramer, second by Mr. Tillman. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kramer,
Aye.
Baranowitz, Renahan,
Yes.
Shar,
Aye.
Schwarzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Stedmeyer,
Aye.
Teams,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Andalcio,
Aye.
Eckhoff, and Franz.
Yes.
There is a comment. Chief Romanelli sent an email this morning that said, unfortunately, he had a conflict that he couldn't move, but to please advise the board, he's grateful for the recognition and for the work that we have accomplished together as a team.
Thank you very much. And finally, we have a proclamation acknowledging April 11th through the 17th, 21 as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And after I read this proclamation, we will have a short video highlighting our wonderful telecommunicators. This is a resolution acknowledging April 11th through the 17th, 2021 as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. Whereas since 1991, the second week of April has been celebrated as National Public Safety Communicators Week to recognize all public safety communications professionals who provide a central link to the public safety services on which citizens rely every day. And whereas the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County has 2 public safety answering points, PSAPs, including Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center, ACDC PSAP, DuPage Public Safety Communications, DUCOM PSAP, for the enhanced 911 systems, servicing visitors and more than 932,708 residents of the county of DuPage and portions of Cook, Kane, and Will counties. And whereas these 128 public safety telecommunicators are first and most critical enhanced 911 contact to the public our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas these 128 first-line public safety telecommunicators engaged in the operation of emergency response systems have a duty to respond to over 2 million 10-digit dial and 911 telephone calls from the general public for police, fire, and emergency medical assistance. And whereas these 128 first-line public safety telecommunicators dispatch said assistance to help save the lives and property of our citizens, contribute substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatments of patients. And whereas above and beyond the daily rendering of emergency service, this past year, these telecommunicators using emergency medical dispatch also telephonically delivered 3 babies, saved 6 lives via CPR, and received 2 meritorious service awards from either their PSAP or community. And whereas these 128 first-line public safety telecommunicators and the 32 public safety directors, managers, supervisors, administrative and technical staff that support them are an integral connection to interoperability of the 911 system for communication with our first responders by expertly monitoring their activities, providing them information, ensuring their safety, especially during a year of extraordinary circumstances and unknowns, including civil unrest and pandemic. And whereas the ETS board acknowledges these 128 first-line public safety telecommunicators and the 32 public safety directors, managers, and supervisors, administrative and technical staff that support them for continued commitment to public safety dispatching, consistent quality and customer service while maintaining the highest level of professionalism 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Greg Schwarzy, Chairman, along with the members of the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County, acknowledge the week of April 11th through the 17th, 2021 as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, and further express our gratitude to all the men and women who serve as telecommunicators and in our public safety answering points, enacted and approved this 14th day in April 2021 in Wheaton, Illinois. I need a motion for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to make the motion that we accept this. I'll need a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Thames. Clerk, please call the roll.
Schwarzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Hagmeyer,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Andalcio,
Aye.
Eckhoff, Franz,
Yes.
Kramer,
Aye.
Baranowitz, Renahan,
Yes.
and Shar.
Aye.
And I think we have a wonderful video to show, so take a look.
Oh, boy. Well, we were getting volume.
That one, there you go.
Well, I was afraid this was gonna cause feedback, but we're good. Apologies.
I'm sure he's saying a lot of smart stuff.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
All right, sorry, we're gonna mute the room. Sorry, we are working out technical difficulties. I don't know why it's not working now.
That's okay, if,
ad lib.
yeah. Well, it's not, I mean, the video
We
is,
can sing the music.
The speaker volume just isn't coming up loud enough.
They can't hear it on the other side either.
oh, they can't.
No.
It's a good pause though.
It's what?
It's a good pause in your face.
We're still gonna have the issue.
We're unmuted.
You are unmuted.
Thank you very much. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I hope you guys did get to see the video. With that being said, do we have any members' comments? Seeing none, I will need a motion to combine the consent agenda, items 6A, B, C, and D.
So moved, Tegmeyer.
Second.
Moved by Member Eckhoff,
Second.
second by Member Kramer. Clerk, please call the roll.
Eckhoff. Aye. Franz.
Yes.
You're muted, Mark.
Sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Ask him again.
Franz.
I hear him on my end. Yeah,
I don't think they're hearing us.
I think you guys are not hearing us.
Now we got
Now we
you.
got you.
Okay.
All right, Franz.
Yes.
All right, Kramer.
Aye.
Moranowitz, Renahan,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Schwarzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Petmeyer.
Aye.
Teams,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Andalcio.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes to combine the items. I'll need a motion to accept item 6A, the monthly staff report, 20-21-30, the monthly report for April 14th. B, the revenue report, 911 surcharge funds, 2021-29, the ETSB revenue report for April 14th regular meeting, and Fund 5820 equalization. Item C, the minutes approval for the Policy Advisory Committee from the regular meeting on March 1st. And then D, the minutes of approval for the ETS Board from our meeting on March 10th, 2021. I need a
Moved
motion.
by Tillman.
Second, Tegmeyer.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Tillman,
Aye.
Andalcio,
Aye.
Eckhoff,
Aye.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer,
Aye.
Moranowitz, Renahan,
Yes.
Shar,
Aye.
Schwarzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Petmeyer.
Aye.
And Teams.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item number 7A, budget transfers. I need a motion to accept item 7A1, which is ETS R 27-21, a budget transfer for the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County for fiscal year 2020 from 4,000,5820,51040 employee medical and hospital insurance to 4,05820,50000 regular salaries to account for end of year accruals for staff related salaries in fiscal year 20. Total budget transfer of $2,297.
Second.
Clerk, call
Second,
the roll.
Andalcio.
Thank you.
Andalcio is the second one.
Eckhoff,
Aye.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer,
Aye.
Moranowitz, Renahan,
Yes.
Shar,
Aye.
Schwarzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Petmeyer.
Aye.
Teams.
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Andalcio.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes. I need a motion to approve ETSR 28-21, a budget transfer for the ETSB of DuPage County for fiscal year 2020 from 4,058.20,51040 employee medical and hospital insurance to 4,058.20,51010 employer share IMRF to account for end of year accruals for staff related benefits in fiscal year 20. Total budget transfer of $113.
So moved, Tegmeyer.
Second, Tillman.
Clerk, call the roll.
Take your pick.
Petmeyer.
Aye.
Teams.
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Andalcio,
Aye.
Eckhoff,
Aye.
Franz.
Yeah.
Kramer,
Aye.
Moranowitz, Renahan,
Yes.
Shar,
Aye.
Schwarzy, Shorzy,
Aye.
and Swanson.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. I need a motion to approve item 2021-28, payment of claims for April 14th, 2021 for fiscal year 21 in the total for $4,058.20, the amount of $340,674.20.
So move, Franz.
Second.
second, Shar.
Moved by Franz, second by Eckhoff. Clerk, please call the roll.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer,
Aye.
Moranowitz, Renahan,
yes,
Shar,
Aye.
Shorzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Hepmeyer,
Aye.
Ames,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Dalcio,
Yes.
and Eckhoff.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. I need a motion to approve item ETS CO 5-21, a resolution to approve multiple change orders to decrease and close contracts that have expired to release funds. So moved by Eckhoff.
Second, Tillman.
Want me to comment on this?
Uh,
Just, this is just a matter of housekeeping in the county ERP system. These contracts remain open unless we officially close them. As noted in the monthly report, anything that was below a certain dollar value can be done internally. Anything over a certain dollar amount has to be closed officially by the board. So that's this list. So this just technically releases these funds into our county process.
Thank you very much.
Eckhoff,
Aye.
Franz, Kramer,
Aye.
Moranowitz, Renahan,
yes,
Shar,
Aye.
Shorzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Hepmeyer,
Aye.
Ames,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Dalcio.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. I need a motion to approve item ETS CO 6-21, a resolution approving change order number 1 to AT&T Inc. to incorporate a second contract component to the Session Initiated Protocol SIP PO number 921-021-5164-1. This is a non-monetary change order. Need a motion?
So
Moved by Tillman. Second.
Moved by Kramer, second by Tillman. Clerk, please call the roll.
I have a little battle going on. Kramer,
Aye.
Moranowitz, Renahan. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Renahan,
yes,
Shar,
Aye.
Shorzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Hepmeyer,
Aye.
Ames,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Dalcio,
Aye.
Eckhoff,
Aye.
and Franz.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed. Item D, purchase resolutions. I need a motion to approve item ETS R 30.
Sorry. Mr. Chairman, David Andalci, I'll be recusing myself from this item awarding resolution to Dell Marketing.
Thank you, Member Andalcio.
I think we're on the item 1, right?
We're still on item 1 right now, though. Just so you, okay. You're not recusing yourself for item 1, are you?
No.
Okay. I need a motion to approve item ETSR 30-21, awarding resolution to Police Legal Sciences Incorporated PO 921024 for 1 year of web-based training for 151 telecommunicators in the total amount of $9,060.
Move, Ames.
Second, Tegmeyer.
Moved by Teams, seconded by Tegmeyer. Any discussion on this? I actually wouldn't mind if Ms. Zerwin or one of the PSAP directors would talk about this training. I think it's good stuff.
Sure. It's web-based training for all of the dispatchers. It's a company that provides scenario-based training. So the dispatcher can listen to the call, listen to radio traffic, see what decisions were made, and then hear from the legal side what went right, what went wrong, that kind of thing. So real-life scenarios given to the TCs every month.
Great. And this is annual typically, or is this something new?
No, we've been doing this for quite some time.
Okay, great. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll.
Teams,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Dalcio,
Aye.
Eckhoff,
Aye.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer,
Aye.
Moranowitz, Renahan,
aye,
Shar,
Yes.
Shorzy.
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
and Tempmeyer.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item D2, you noted that member Indalcio is recusing himself from this. I need a motion to approve item ETS R 31-21 and awarding a resolution to Dell Marketing LP, PO number 921025 for 22 CAD computer replacements in the PSAPs, total amount of $25,276.46.
Move teams.
Moved by member Teams.
Second, Tegmeyer.
Call roll.
Teams.
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Indalcio,
Recuse.
Eckhoff,
Aye.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer.
Aye.
Baranowitz, Renahan,
no,
Shar,
Aye.
Shorzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
and Tempmeyer.
Motion passes. Thank you. On to resolutions. I need a motion to approve item 2021-24 Starcom 21 radio airtime request, Carroll Stream PD, to add one mobile radio to the ETSB contract. So moved by member Eckhoff,
Second.
second by member Teams.
This was recommended for approval at the PAC meeting and sent forward to the board.
Thank you very much. Any comments, questions? Clerk call the roll.
Eckhoff,
Aye.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer,
Aye.
Baranowitz, Renahan,
yes,
Shar,
Aye.
Shorzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Tempmeyer,
Aye.
Teams.
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Indalcio.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passed. I need a motion to approve item 2021-25 Starcom 21 radio airtime request, Hinsdale Fire Department, to add 3 mobile radios to their ETSB contract. And this was also recommended for approval by the PAC at their meeting on April 5th.
So move teams.
second, Renahan,
Second, Renahan. Clerk, please call the roll.
Teams.
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Indalcio.
Aye.
Eckhoff.
Aye.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer,
Aye.
Baranowitz, Renahan,
yes,
Shar,
Aye.
Shorzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
and Tempmeyer.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passed. I need a motion to approve item ETS R 2621, a resolution to adjust the salaries of the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County staff in concurrence with changes as authorized by the DuPage County Board for fiscal year 21. Moved by member Eckhoff,
Second, France.
second by Franz. Any discussion on this? Okay, clerk call the roll.
Eckhoff.
Aye.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer.
Aye.
Baranowitz, Renahan,
yes,
Shar,
Aye.
Shorzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Tempmeyer,
Aye.
Teams.
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Indalcio.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion passed. Item 4, ETS, I need a motion to approve item ETS R 32-21, a resolution to amend policy 911-006, the Policy Advisory Committee. So moved by member Eckhoff,
second,
second by Chief Kramer. Any discussion on this?
Are you discussing Francis changes or are you taking the one that's in the book?
The branch changes. Everyone has that.
They have them, but that's not what's posted. So incorporate them if we're going to make changes. So I think that would be your discussion.
Okay, there was, what you guys got in your original packet for this PAC advisory committee policy. There was a few minor changes amongst, after discussion with myself and the Vice Chair Franz and Executive Director Zerwin. So I'm going to let Linda kind of explain the changes and then tell me what we need to do as far as approving this.
Sorry to catch off guard.
No, I just didn't know if Member Franz wanted to comment on
Or-
the changes at all. I can read them in so that they're official in terms of amending, and then I don't know if they want to add any commentary to it. So on the first page under purpose, and the second line, striking the word regarding and replacing it with the word including. So it would read, the Policy Advisory Committee PAC shall exist for the purpose of vetting policy recommendations, including the DuPage Emergency Dispatch Interoperable Radio System leaders from the focus groups and subcommittees of DuPage ETSB. The second change that came out was under the section policy, section 1 policy statement. At the end of the paragraph, after the word in the third line, direction of the ETS board shall perform any duties assigned to them via ETSB policy. And in the last paragraph under standardization goals, it reorders the first goal becomes, does the configuration provide better customer service to the end users? And then every number after that succeeds down so that there are 5 goals.
So they're minor changes. Some of the reasons for the changing is that we talked about this last month and maybe even a couple months ago. You know, the focus right now for our PAC committee is getting these radios replaced. It's a big job. It's a necessary job, and we want them to stay focused on that. We also want to use this PAC committee down the road to be able to review policies and other items besides the radios. And so that's why some of the language was changed just a little bit. So I guess, Mark, Member Franz, you have anything to add to that?
No, appreciate going through that, and certainly open to other thoughts on this. Linda, maybe just make sure everyone's on the same page. Maybe just a little background on how this PAC has operated over the last, it's been around for what, 10, 12 years or something like that. That might be helpful just to understand kind of what their charge has been and what it's going to be focused on kind of moving forward.
Sure. So the PAC originally evolved out of the Radio Steering Committee as police and fire executives and QCOM representatives, et cetera, based and the policies that were created from the PAC had to do with the radio system, because these are portable radios and any operational talk group programming, things like that. There's about 15 policies under DETRs that have been reviewed by this group. You've seen a couple of these on the accessories and TDMA and those recommendations, and then there's procedures on emergency buttons and things like that. So their primary focus, as was evolved out of Radio Steering Committee, was the oversight of programming of portable radios, et cetera. And so now, and this was when we had, this started in 2010, 2011, roughly. So we had probably 12 PSAPs at that point. And as there was consolidation, representatives dropped off. And then we got to the point where it was a little bit, not a little bit, it was a lot skewed in terms of representation based on the consolidation. So under this actually kind of began under Chairman Noonan, but will be finished here, was the reordering of that board to be more reflective of where you are today with 2 PSAPs and the representation of fire and police and a PSAP representative to ensure, especially now that we're doing a review of the radios. So the idea then going forward was also, as you know, historically, you have done two buildings and replaced all your major systems in the last 4 years. There were focus groups that evolved from those: tech focus, CAD focus, and fire station alerting standardization focus group. And those kind of evolved organically out of the configuration of those systems, but have proven to be valuable. And so you're beginning to formalize those into the process. Today, those focus groups come up through the directors, and if the directors reach an impasse, then it would come to the board. And in the last 18 months since we've gone live on those systems, nothing's reached the board. So I'd say it's working fairly well, but is continuing to organically evolve. So we're beginning to merge all of these ideas together based on the fact that you're now a 2 PSAP 911 system.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, appreciate that. If I could just make one other quick comment, what I think is going to help this group, the ETSB board, is just kind of formalizing this and updating this group so that we could be even more confident that things are being vetted and both PSAPs are being involved in these decisions, although we know that's been going on for a long time. This kind of formalizes it a little bit and allows us to send other policy research and review to that committee as we see fit. So I think it's a step in the right direction.
Thank you very much, Vice Chairman Franks. And you were going to say?
This was also reviewed by the state's attorney. So this policy, and that's part of the policy that all policies, it's going to sound awkward. Part of this policy is also that any policies going forward, which we do anyway, but is now memorializing here, would be reviewed by the state's attorney's office. And then SAO Bruckner reviewed this policy as well.
Any comments?
I don't have a problem with this policy so long as the duties given to the PAC are within the authority of the board to give them. This policy seems to reflect that.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments?
I'm just looking for a little bit of clarification on what the purpose makes sense to change the word including and the addition of the performing duties makes sense. Just a little clarification on the new goal of does the configuration provide better customer service to the end users?
That's Vice Chairman Fran's language. Do you want to comment on that?
Sure. I think it was just, it's important as we talked a little bit about goals and the chair and I have talked a little bit about the hope of standardization is critical, and we've made a lot of strides, particularly in the PSAPs reduction. I think it's made it easier to standardize across different systems, but I don't think we want to have a black and white with every one of those decisions. The end users and the ability of the PSAPs to solve problems a little differently at times, I think provides the right amount of flexibility. And I don't think we want to lose sight that we're doing this for the end user. So I think incorporating that goal just provides a little bit of flexibility, and it's something that makes sense from my perspective.
So who are the end users?
The folks making the calls, the folks taking the calls.
So the dispatchers?
Well, it's both. I think the people we serve are really the end users of the system, but it's also the telecommunicators taking the calls too. And in some cases, I know ACDC set up a little bit differently than DUCOM, but at DUCOM, it's particular members that request certain things, and it puts the PSAP director and staff in a tough spot because they're responsible to their board as well. So I don't think we can, address all those things with everything's got to be standardized, period. That doesn't work in the real world. So I think creating a little bit of flexibility with this additional goal helps us see the big picture a little better.
This is just my perception, my thoughts on this is that, standardization is important. Absolutely important. I think what this language is trying to say is that, sometimes there's more than one right way to do something. And so it offers, as vague as the language really is, it offers a little bit of flexibility to say, we can do this way, we can do things this way, and that's right. And you can do things, someone else can do things that way, and that's right as well. So I think that's what it's trying to offer, as vague as the language really is.
Right. Yeah. In my mind, these things are always an equation, right? It starts with the citizen making the call, right? So a lot of times I think of the end user as the citizen, right? And then it's the dispatcher processing the call, and then it's the first responders going, right? So the equation has to kind of fit for everybody. So I think, the citizen has to get what they need as quickly as possible and as safely. we need to send first responders in an effective, safe manner, and it can't be too complicated, right? So the dispatchers have to have an easy way to do things. So I think with that understanding, I get it. Maybe we could change the
And I
language a
think,
little bit, but
I mean, I think we're all in agreement on that, really. I mean, the goal is the person who needs help is the number one goal. What's the best way to get that there? So, thank you. Any other comments or questions on that? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
you have to do a motion.
oh,
Amen.
correct.
To reflect the language of the changes which Ms. Irwin read.
Okay, so I will need a motion to amend item ETS R 32-21 as amended, which everyone should have received an email on that, and as Executive Director Zerwin just read.
Does it have to be the same person that made the motion?
No, the motion to amend can be made by somebody else.
I'll make that motion to approve the amended. Sorry.
Before you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Policy and procedure.
to amend. Motion by Vice Chair Franz. Is there a second? Second by Eckhoff. Clerk, please call the roll.
Franz,
Yes.
Kramer. Aye. Baranowitz, Brennahan,
Yes.
Shar,
yes,
Schwarzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Peckmeyer,
Aye.
Ames.
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Dalcio.
Aye.
And Eckhoff.
All right, that motion passes. Now need a motion to accept that as amended.
So that's Eckhoff's already made that motion, right?
Oh, he's already made that. Okay. You don't need another one?
That was amended, so now it's accepting as amended.
We have to do another motion on that.
Oh, you got the underlying motion. Hold on that.
We had the same question yesterday.
So motion by Eckhoff.
I'll second Fran.
Any more discussion? All right, clerk, please call it.
Eckhoff.
Aye.
Franz,
Yeah.
Kramer,
Aye.
Baranowitz, Brennahan,
Yes.
Shar,
yes,
Schwarzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Peckmeyer,
Aye.
Ames.
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
and Dalcio.
All right, thank you. Motion passed. And I would like to ask maybe our P staff to have the names of their prospective appointees maybe by the next meeting in May. Sound okay?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I almost had it done yesterday, and then I got a curve.
Yes. Okay, item 8, to page ETSB 911 system design. I'll turn this over to Executive Director Zerwin.
Yes, so over the weekend, we do have one more thing to report other than what's in the monthly report. Over the weekend, there was a CPE outage because of the network. So I'm gonna let Deputy Director Choice do an update for you on, we've been working with AT&T on this network outage and where we stand with it today, and kind of the overview of how long, what occurred and how long, and then I think Director Teams or Member Teams would like to add to that.
Okay, so Saturday night around 8:30, the network that connects the two hosts on the 911 system went down. When that network went down, the primary link went down. Addison lost, or ACDC lost 911 calls. While they were contacting the resolution center to get AT&T engaged, the calls were transferred first outside of the system, and then they worked with the resolution center to get all the calls transferred over to DUCOM. About 12:30 that night, AT&T was able to determine the root cause of the issue. It had something to do with a physical piece of equipment that was at the B side on the network. That's the AC/DC side. As of 10 minutes before the meeting started this morning, they've resolved that configuration issue. There will be additional testing to ensure that everything is working appropriately, that will have limited non-emergency phone impact. And we'll be working with the PSAPs to get that work scheduled. As far as the root cause analysis from AT&T, that'll be reviewed by the tech focus group.
Only in addition, we lost everything. We lost the non-emergencies. We lost the ability to make calls out. Staff acted quickly. We got calls to Naperville and Northwest Central. Then we sent staff to DUCOM and had calls routed to DUCOM. And Brian, thank you to your staff for helping us out, getting us logged in to help answer calls. So we're waiting to hear a few more details from you.
Dropping calls.
I'm sorry?
No dropping of calls or follow-up.
Don't know for sure. We ran one report. I want to match that up with what AT&T has to make sure that we've got it. Okay.
So what did this mean to the caller, to the resident?
So for a minute or two, there were no calls coming to us. So as soon as they got routed to Northwest Central and Naperville, they picked those calls up. And then we have cell phones in the center that we activate and call them, let them know what phone number they can call in and give us our calls. Once we got to DUCOM, our dispatchers were able to drop CADs like they normally would in the system.
So you're talking 1 to 2 minutes.
Few minutes.
Did you get any feedback from the public?
I think no. So I think that's good.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
We're going to go one case where we got flagged down and said, we can't get through 911, we need the cops here. And then one of our guys had the radio in, say, we need help out here. They can't get hold of 911. That's the only case that I know that happened on ours. That's good.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you. Thank you, man. All right, moving on, item number 9, Dieter's portable and mobile radio replacement. We are going to review the police survey results. So Chief Shar, along with our PAC chairman, Chief Hayden, will go ahead and present those slides. It's all yours, Chief Shar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. The DuPage Chiefs assisted us in getting out the survey to all DuPage County Chiefs. We sent it out in March and received a response from 24 of the DuPage County jurisdictions. The survey consisted of 13 questions, and it was designed to get us a general understanding of where the police department stood as far as the radio replacement program. Some of the general questions that we asked, and as you can see on your screen, we wanted to make sure that they understood that these radios were beginning to get to the end of their life cycle and that there would be decisions that needed to be made. As you can see from the first question, there's still a little bit of difference depending on which department you talk to as far as whether or not they would like encryption on all channels or the tactical channels only. But then you'll still see that you start to move into general consensus with the remaining questions. Moving on to the next. We asked if people would be willing to pay for the encryption themselves, and as you can see, it was 50-50. We believe the reason for that is there's still a little bit of confusion out there in the police side as to what type of encryption would be used, as well as who all would get encrypted and where, what radio channels. So we're going to be working on that, and I'll address that towards the end of this presentation. We did make sure that everybody understood that they needed to be radio compliant in order to be a part of this program. And then we got into the acknowledgements. As per ETSB and state policy, there's a number of things that each department that has radios has to acknowledge. So we wanted to take the time during this survey to ensure that everybody did know what those things were and were willing to make those acknowledgements when we move into this program. As you can see, for questions 1 through 3, everybody's ready. Question number 5, again, a little confusion, I believe. This is about the fact that community service officers by state law are not considered people who are allowed to have radios that are provided by the ETSB because they're not considered officially to be first responders. I think you'll find if you talk to anybody in police management, we disagree with that connotation. They are in fact first responders. They get dispatched to private property accidents. They get dispatched to parking complaints. They go out on accidents with people. So they are oftentimes first responders. So we're looking at what we can do to try and change that moving forward, but we need to make sure they understand for the time being that is in fact the case. For this survey, one of the bigger things we wanted to do is figure out how many radios we had out there and where everybody stood. So as you can see, of the agencies that responded, they account for over 1,200 radios. They currently own over 360 radios. This accounts for just over 1,200 sworn members. And in those departments that responded, there are 100 CSOs. So those are not EST-owned radios that are out there. What we really learned from the survey, on top of the information that directly is on your screen, is the biggest hangup we're going to have moving forward is determining the best way to encrypt the radios. I think it's a foregone conclusion that the police side does in fact want it encrypted. It's a matter of how it should be encrypted, both in the radio itself and what channels will be encrypted. Thankfully, I've been working with Matt Barman over at DUCOM, and he has been kind enough to reach out to his peers in both surrounding communities that aren't on our radio, as well as those that we may touch in a mutual aid type of situation, to find out what they're doing to ensure that once we do this project, we will still have communications available with them on those rare occasions that they need to respond to us or we need to respond to them. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you very much, Chief. Anybody have any questions? I know I'm going to have some questions, but I want to open it up to the rest of the board first.
Yeah, if I could just real quick, Chief Scar, thanks for presenting this. So are you suggesting that we should revisit the policy of not allowing not allowing CSOs to have ETSB radios?
I'm saying that is a question that the chiefs are looking into right now. We're gauging the interest in that, and there is a wide interest in that based on what the CSO position has morphed into over the years. We feel that it would be appropriate for them to have an ETSB provided radio.
Okay, great. Thank you.
It's not a policy though.
No,
Just for clarification, it's not something the ETSB decided because it didn't want to. It's hamstringed by legislation. So it's the same issue we have with leads. While we can argue that leads is really beneficial to a dispatch, there's an attorney general opinion that says nice to have, but not needed for the dispatch. So this is how we're working through those issues. So it's more legislative in the question.
I took advantage of this survey in order to get that issue out there. We understand that this will be an after the radio issue. Most likely it's a standalone issue that's going to require the chiefs get involved with the legislatures down in Springfield.
Thank you, Chief Shard. Since we're on the topic of the CSOs, what do they currently use?
The police departments buy their radios.
They're buying them. Okay, all right.
Linda, not to put you on the spot, maybe we need to do a little more research on this, but just curious, how is this a long-standing decision by the state's attorney? Has this been reviewed recently, or is this a 10-year-old decision and something that could be reviewed?
It's an attorney general and statutory. I don't know that we've ever asked the state's attorney to weigh in on it. And so, Chief Shar is accurate in saying that position has evolved from 2009, 2010, when this was first decided. So it's just one of those legislative issues. So I think it's just a question of what bill to slip it into.
Thank you.
How to make that work.
Member Tillman.
CSOs and auxiliaries to calls, correct? I mean, they could provide radios to officers and under civil unrest condition for crowd control and the like, afforded radios from the ETS.
We need to take a look at it, but we'll follow the process.
I'm going to hold off on some questions.
Yeah, get this presentation up for you. So this survey was done last. So we'll go through this quick. So quick background, because the background is important to understand where fire is, and that is sheriff needing a radio system, and then the PD throughout the county got involved. Fire wasn't really part of the initial planning. So when fire got involved, the plan was that there could be one portable radio issued for each police officer and one portable for each fire department riding position based on vehicles. So it's not based on number of personnel. So what that resulted in is agencies having to choose whether they wanted to use some of those radios for mobile radios, which are needed in fire vehicles for noise and other reasons. And then that resulted in either vehicles not having mobile radios or firefighter positions not having portable radios. So a little different between how police and fire evolved. And then just like the police, many fire agencies have purchased additional mobile and portable radios since that time. So I'll run through the numbers real quickly. In summary, 100% of the fire agencies responded to the survey, and then Chief Kramer and myself and Chief Gorski followed up individually with each department to make sure we understood the answers, because I admit my survey was a bit confusing. They did respond affirmatively to all the ETSB policy questions that Chief Shar spoke about. 90% of the fire agencies want encryption if the PD encrypts their dispatch talk group. So that's sort of the big trigger for fire, because without that, we don't have interoperability. And the best example of that would be, say, a school shooting or any kind of mass shooting. What we do is monitor the police band in order to get a good sense of what's going on, and then begin supporting that operation. 90% of those fire agencies do not support encrypting the talk groups, the fire dispatch talk group, sorry to be clear. They do support, 21% support some selected talk group encryption. And again, that could change, that could change based on the better understanding of encryption, but that was the initial survey. But they do understand that encryption creates communications issues outside the DETR system, which is probably much more of an issue on the fire side than on the police side, because we run mutual aid, auto aid every day throughout the county with agencies that are not part of the DETR system. As you might expect, the 90% of departments are not willing to pay the one-time costs to encryption for ETSB-owned radios, and 70% don't want to pay the cost to encrypt the agency-owned radios. And 100% agree with the radio package proposed, the Motorola package. However, they've not looked at alternative technologies or vendors. Just some numbers similar to what the chief presented, and our survey is all based on status quo, what we have today. Fire agencies need 135 additional mobile radios if we were going to have one Starcom mobile radio for each fire and EMS vehicle, and that would not include fire prevention or EMA, sort of some of the same issues that we just talked about with CSOs. Kind of evolving issue, some agencies have now installed 2 mobile radios, mobile Starcom radios in their command vehicles. Most agencies have multiple radios, but many agencies now are doing 2 Starcom radios, which ETSB has not provided. So if they want those are additional radios. Some are used in fire station alerting. We'll just skip over that for right now. That's generally been agency cost. And 100% agencies agree that GPS is not required in mobile radios if we have it operational on mobile computers. 68, that was mobiles. This is portables now. 68 additional Starcom portables to have 1 portable per riding position. That doesn't include command and staff vehicles, and about another 66 for command and staff. You add those together, that's 134 additional portable radios. If we were just going off the current inventory of Starcom radios, we need about 170 additional Starcom portables, which means that's probably about what the agency-owned number is. If we went to a model more like the police, where we issued 1 portable per person, which is what some fire agencies have now done based on their own purchases, that's 1,323 Starcom portable radios for every member in the county. The next part about ruggedized just has to do with some temporary issues if we were going to move those. And I'm going to skip over fire prevention and EMA, but it is a somewhat similar issue to CSOs. And I'll just use my department as an example. Our fire prevention people respond to structure fires. They respond on a number of different types of alarms, trouble alarms, other things dispatched by the PSAP. And our EMA personnel respond on 911 calls for things, minor calls like wires down and flooding, other types of calls that come into 911. So there might be some analogous consideration there for either fire prevention or EMA. And then similar to the question was in the police survey, we talked about portables for our command and communication vehicles. There's only a few of them in the county, and those currently do not have a cache of portable radios, Starcom radios, and those have proven very beneficial in major incidents. So it would be a nice thing to have. GPS, 74% would like GPS in the portables, and 67% would be willing to pay for GPS in both ETSB and agency-owned radios. All right, so I went through that quickly. Chief Kramer is going to kind of go to the big summary, and I will turn it over to my good colleague, Deputy Chief Kramer.
Thank you. Yeah, the survey went well. There was, as Chief Connolly said, there was confusion, so we had to physically call every agency to make sure that everybody understood what the question was, readjust the numbers. But overall, I think it went pretty well, and we got 100% agency reply to the survey.
Thank you, Deputy Chief, and thank you, Assistant Chief. Any questions from any of the other members at this point? So,
Is not. Chair Hayden.
Oh, okay. He is or is not?
No.
Okay. So from my limited knowledge and understanding, it feels like this encryption issue is going to be a little tricky, especially when it comes to fire and police. And so let me ask this first. How much does it cost to encrypt, per channel or I mean, because you can encrypt some channels and not others, correct?
We have some encryption now.
Right, right.
Technical channels are encrypted.
But I'm assuming there's a cost per channel that you encrypt. Does anybody here that knows the cost of that?
So I think it depends on a couple things. The price that was quoted to the agencies was around $888 per radio, and that's hardware encryption. And so, some of the discussion, Chairman Hayden at the PAC meeting, they had put together an outline of questions that needed to be answered, and they've asked Matt Barman as a PAC member to present encryption for discussion starting at their next meeting, which is April 19th. And so, the challenge, and that was part of the survey that Chairman Hayden asked Member Barman to do, because, when we talk about access, if Northwest Central says, yes, you can have access to our channels, but we don't have the same kind of encryption, it doesn't matter. And that's why the state guidelines and SEIC recommendations, P25 recommendations, all of those things were sent out so that whoever was filling out the survey could understand where the state is committing with encryption. So, some of the issues, as the presenters have said, is, if main talk groups are encrypted, then fire would like to have access. So those are all things that Member Barman is going to review in terms of options of hardware and software encryption. For software or, just talk group encryption, that's a multi-key issue. So we do some things. So I don't know the complete cost because I don't know what direction we're going to go. But Treasurer Henry and I have the financial tasks. So as soon as certain things, we've done some work on financing, but as soon as there's a better understanding of what the package is going to be. We'll have a better idea of what the pricing is going to look like, and then the board can make some decisions on yes, no, and how that's going to work. So there's multiple steps here depending on what the agencies make as far as a recommendation or what they'd like to see in the radios going forward.
Okay.
This is what kind of created a lot of questions during the survey, because this was so early on.
Right.
Nobody really had any of the answers. And that's why the numbers are, could be skewed one way or another, because really nobody has a solid direction of where we're going, how much things are going to cost. So once there is some type of direction and maybe some options that are available to us, we may be able to have to readdress some of these questions to get a little more accurate. Because a lot of the things is what do we need minimally today? Or what is our wish list for the next time around? Because agencies that own radios, they don't know what the options are with their agency-owned radios. And do we have to try to, put together another budget to have that financial impact again to purchase all those radios and all that kind of stuff? So there is a lot of questions that stem from this survey.
Okay. So with the PAC committee kind of taking the lead on this, our Chief Kramer, Chief Connolly, Chief Shar, are you guys going to be working pretty close with this PAC committee on working together to try to solve some of these answers?
So I have asked, because after I'm finally relieved from the PAC, I asked if we can get the member that could potentially relieve my position to be involved from the start, just in case that this takes a little bit of time to get them appointed to the board. So I've also invited him to every one of those meetings for the radio program, so he can be there from the beginning and not, partially. So yeah. So personally, I'll still, help out and do whatever I need on my end as well.
Okay, thank you. Just same question, Chief Shar.
And from the police side, yes, I was involved in the last PAC meeting, and I've been invited to attend moving forward so that we can make sure that we're all putting our oars in the same direction.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. A couple more questions, and this is to Executive Director Zerwin. So with regards to purchasing, well, first of all, I think I heard Deputy Chief Connolly say there's somewhere around 1,323 radios on the fire side. I heard Chief Shar, at least with the respondents, say there was almost 1,300 there. How many total radios do we have right now that are ETSB purchased? Is that?
It's roughly 3,500.
Okay. So the assumption is that we'll probably be around that same, or will they be more, you think, or less?
I feel the fire eyes staring at me. Well, let me say this. When I came in 2009, a lot of things had already been decided in terms of, positioning vehicles. And I think knowing what we know, not that it's up to me to make a recommendation, but knowing what we know today and how we're using the system and the radios, I think the direction that fire is heading in terms of apparatus, not just getting the chair, but in terms of apparatus is accurate, and would solve a lot of the issues that we have, some of the issues that we have today. So, and then the plan of replacement is going to depend on a lot of questions, because we do have the radio, there's options to use the current radios until they die. We just don't want to be caught with them all dying at once and not be ready to go. So there is a way to facilitate and then, replace as they end of life themselves, in the future. So it really just kind of comes down to what they all decide on and where we go from there. So, I think you will see a few, I think they are right in the direction that they're heading. So I think you're going to see several more. Okay. You're going to up that number.
Okay.
And then it's the question of if the board wants to pick up replacement of anything that's been purchased on the side. And that's going to depend on the DMARC recommendation of should everybody have a radio and things like that. So.
Okay. Thank you very much. So with regards to the actual radios themselves, we're using Motorola, correct?
Today, yes.
So I know that was, can't remember if it was Chief Starr, Chief Connolly that mentioned that, you know, they don't know what else is out there, so to speak, but is this exclusive? I mean, are there options for reaching out and pricing? I mean, what's the proper procedure for purchasing these? Do we have to put it out to bid?
It's gonna depend on what they decide on.
Okay.
There's a state contract, so it's just gonna depend on, you know, if the consensus of the users is to stay with Motorola, then there's state contracts. And then depending on what's decided, I'll have to talk to procurement about and the state's attorney about what, I feel you. I feel you looking, there's just, we're gonna have to look at it overall and see if there's a bid requirement or if it can come off a state contract, et cetera, et cetera. It's just gonna depend on what the end recommendation is.
Okay, thank you. As far as financing or purchasing these, I believe that Motorola might, if we do stay with Motorola.
We don't know that yet.
You don't
That
know
would
that.
be
Okay.
premature.
Things we can look into hopefully is whoever we buy these from to see if there's any, you know, no interest financing. It might be worth looking at the American Recovery Act to see if there's anything out there for things like this. So again, just a couple ideas on financing.
So Chairman, I
other
have a
questions?
question.
Member Tillman.
So when I hear, you know, is there any other solutions outside of Motorola? I have a question about the Starcom 21 system in and of itself. My understanding is that you could only use Motorola radios on the Starcom system. Is that true or false? Go ahead. Yeah, I'm asking you, Linda.
It is false, but the caveat from Starcom is that when they update the system, meaning the infrastructure, the towers and those kind of things, consoles, they don't guarantee other brands working. So it's up to the other brands that may or may not be on the system to work that interface. That's the difference.
Okay. And the reason I asked that question, I mean, I know a lot of the board members are new, but this board has made a significant investment into the Starcom system. I think this board had to invest in 3 or 4 additional sites, and this board had to pay impact fees for those sites, and it was a significant investment. So I'm not sure if that's if everyone's aware of that, but you know, to kind of switch systems now, we've already put a lot into this system. So I just want to make that clear for the board members who may not be in the know.
Thank you, Member Tillman. Very, very important point. Thank you so much.
I'd like to make a couple of comments as well.
Sure.
From a technology standpoint, it doesn't seem like Motorola or the system that we're using is keeping up with technology today. And I'm sure that, you know, we hear Motorola, we hear proprietary, we hear encryption, we hear a cost. I'm just hoping that we are doing our diligence and checking with other major ETSBs around the country, for example, California, and making sure we have the latest and greatest technology. Technology is progressing, and I don't see the systems that we have, you know, is progressing as such. When I hear outages and for 1 minute, a 911 system goes down, that could be a life or death. I mean, where's the redundancy? So I just want to make sure that we are looking at outsiders to see what they are doing, what is the latest and greatest in technology, and do we have it? What we don't want to do is to keep investing into technology that becomes archaic or proprietary, where there's no upgrades, they can't talk to each other. So I just want to make those comments.
Thank you, Member Indalcio.
I think, you know, obviously this is going to be discussed at the PAC level, but, you know, it's first, the failures, that's an AT&T network. So let's just be clear about that. This thing that we talked about this morning, but the other piece is, you know, we're on a state network, which means, if the goal of interoperability amongst our neighbors, and I think Member Indalcio is right. Yes, is there other technology out there? But we're still waiting for neighbors to come to digital technology on radios. And that's part of the holdup on the fire side is, that they struggle with having to use VHF with their neighbors. And unfortunately, there are very few fire departments in our system that aren't going outside or don't have mutual aid or are responding outside of the county boundaries. So we have to be cautious of that. And so, you also save a ton of money today because you're not managing, although you're paying an airtime, so you're not like saving in that regard, but you have a larger system. Merit is able to use statewide talk groups for coverage for things that they're doing. So there's some benefits there, but we're only held back by the ability to interact with our neighbors as well for the good of the order. And that's one of the challenges, but I'm sure that will all be discussed at the PAC level. I mean, there are some new and great things that we could have, but we wouldn't be able to talk to anybody else. And that would be a challenge.
Thank you very much.
So, Chairman, if I could just add on to that point.
Yes, sir. Member Tegmeyer.
So, Member Aldacio, you brought this up a couple meetings ago, and I did my own little research, and it's really what Linda's pretty much answered it. But the difference is we're still on what's called LMR radios, and I think what you're talking about is an evolution move to like LTE and getting onto FirstNet or something like that. It's all out there. There are some people doing it, but again, as Linda's reasons, our investment into a statewide interoperable system, I think we're on LMR for the next purchase. And I don't think that puts us really behind the technology. I think it puts us in the right place with the technology that's available. Would that be 10 years from now, LMR again? Probably not. But again, the state network is very reliable. And when we talk about FirstNet, FirstNet's not what it was originally supposed to be. It's still using the commercial AT&T network. It's just prioritizing public safety on that network. So I'm not sure that I'd be comfortable with putting our public safety infrastructure on a commercial wireless, commercial wireless network. And that's unless we're creating our own LTE infrastructure, which I think would be expensive. I don't think we're ready, but I do know that it's been looked at because you did mention that before. And I'm sure, as Linda said, the PAC will do a cursory review of that as well, just to make sure. But I think we're in the right place.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments on anything regarding the deer?
Mr. Chairman, it's Deputy Chief Conley. I apologize. I understand my slides weren't showing, so that was my bad. I didn't even test it this morning. But to Member Andalcio's point and Member Tegmeyer's point, I mean, there are hybrid radios out there now that combine LTE and LMR, things that the PAC should be at least taking a look at going forward. Again, depending on the timing of these purchases. I know finance is a big part of this, but from a technology perspective, the technology is moving quickly. There's certainly pros and cons, and certainly costs will be part of that. But there's many options. We glossed over many of the finer points of do you keep mobile radios? Do you update mobile radios? There's many ways to both have potentially increased costs, but there's also ways to potentially control costs by looking at more efficient ways of doing this. So I'd give the PAC a big challenge that they've got a lot of work ahead of them if that's where this is going to be vetted out. But we're certainly all willing and anxious to help.
Thank you very much, Chief Conley. Any other questions or comments? All right. Do we have any old business? Seeing none, do we have any new business?
Can I just say that even if you didn't hear Chairman Schwarz's lead-in, that video is being played at the PSAPs at their roll calls. So and certainly can get it out to you if you're interested.
Thank you very much.
It's also on the ETSB's Facebook page.
Great. All right. Executive session. ETSB is going to go into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 122C1 for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. So we will need to have a motion to adjourn to go into executive session with the fact that we're going to need to come back to this meeting afterwards. Am I correct? Do I need to add anything else to that?
So you just need a motion to go into executive session and a roll call vote.
Okay. So
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, real quick, I just want to make sure I don't screw up the quorum. I cannot stay. I've got to get to another meeting. So just FYI.
Thank you very much.
I think I don't know, is Julie still on?
Not showing it. No.
I think he went over to the executive session room, but I don't know.
6, 7, 8, 9. We still have 9 here. Well, March 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is still a quorum.
You need a supermajority. Is Eck up there? Okay, so you're done.
So we don't have the amount of members to conform what we need to conform here.
I apologize. Wasn't aware there was going to be an executive session.
Okay, so since we don't have a forum for executive session, we will push that off till next month. And with that being said, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Andalso.
Second. Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Andalso,
Aye.
Eckhoff, Franz,
Yes.
Kramer,
Aye.
Moranowitz, Renahan, Carr,
Aye.
Shorzy,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Hetmeyer,
Aye.
Teams, and Tillman.
Aye.
Thank you all very much. We'll see you next month.
See you. Bye-bye.